because it's hot as balls.
Yes, it is.
In town.
And I think that would probably have to be my favorite, or my... That scene, and there's another scene where there's a zombie ripping his... Like, has his hand down someone's throat and pulling...
You stole mine.
Okay.
Yeah. There's this part, this amazing part. It might be the best, like, attack scene in the whole film, but they go... one of the two main characters, or couple of the main characters, go into what is like a storage unit for weapons, and they're looking for one of the soldiers that are supposedly stationed in there. Mm-hmm. And it's all dark, and they first come across like a leg, a severed leg that's sitting up, and they slowly walk back, and they think that they're okay, and then they shine their lights. They do like this thing where they shine their flashlights through the rest of the room, and you see like just walkers, or stenches as they call them in this. They have their own lingo, which I thought was great. Yes, the stenches are in the back, and they're like devouring some of the military dudes. And there's this, what James was talking about, is right before they cut out of that scene, this guy has his hand inside this, like, the throat of this corpse, and he rips out the tonsils to eat them, and it looks pretty cool.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, because we're sick. I guess.
I have those numbers for you. The budget was $15 million estimated.
15, okay.
And opening weekend made $10 million, and the total gross was $20 million.
Okay.
So it almost doubled.
Yeah, not a failure by any means. For that, yeah, I would say that's a success for
that time too.
Yeah, definitely a smaller budget horror film for sure. Okay, so we did your favorite scene. Is there anything you didn't like or you would change?
Something that I would change. I don't know. I feel like the death of what was that, the bad guy who was running everything, pretty much, the rich guy.
Oh, Dennis Hopper's character.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper's character. He I feel like his death was kind of just too easy. I don't know. I like he blew up, but I think it should have been maybe more
like a slightly more played out.
Yeah.
You think?
I think it happened too fast. It just he blew up from an explosion.
Yeah, and it's kind of. I thought it was cool because they throughout this whole film they play on what if zombies were able to kind of relearn their motor functions.
Yeah.
And that's what set this movie apart from other zombie movies, is because it makes that attempt to explain that, which is very ballsy in itself. And so towards the end of the film, spoiler alert, we have a little bit of spoilers. If you haven't seen this already, you probably won't, it probably won't ruin it too much for you anyway. But the leader of the zombies meets Dennis Hopper's character in this garage, and then he ends up it's like a parking garage.
Yeah.
And so the leader leaves, and John Leguizamo, who is the leader, or one of the leaders of the scavenger unit that Dennis Hopper fucks over, he has already been bitten, and he somehow makes his way back to, like, they're playing off of the motor functions again. He comes back to kill Dennis Hopper, even though he's a zombie. So John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper are tussling, and Big Daddy, who is the leader of the zombie, comes back and throws like this like homemade like grenade thing I forget what it's called. It's like some paramilitary thing, and blows up like the car that they're standing by, and that's the end of those two characters. And I could see how that's a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
Or it could have just like lasted a little longer, maybe like a chase scene or something. Yeah, but I could totally understand that.
Yeah. One thing I liked about the movie was the fact that they tried to, that I feel like Romero tried to humanize zombies a little bit and make, you could see at the end of the movie, the mentalist, I can't remember his name, he sort of feels remorse for them and doesn't want to.
Yeah, because they give him so a bunch of the soldiers escape towards the end of the movie, and they have like this huge
like a bus tank.
Yeah, called the Dead Reckoning, and it has rocket launchers attached to the top, and they have the choice of blowing up the remainder of the zombies from the final act, the scene, the ones that are, they're coming at, or I guess they were coming after the city, and he says, the main character that you're saying, what's his name? Simon Baker.
Yes.
He's like, no, they're just looking for somewhere to go, same as us. So it's almost like he basically lets them go, which is cool. It's like that's what I loved about Romero's work, is he always threw in, and I don't know if it was intentional or it was just like a subconscious thing, but there was always like this kind of social commentary, which always fit very well for the zombie genre, which I think is why he's so revered for just those movies that he did. I don't know.
Is that all we got?
No.
Okay.
We got to do the Swan Facts.
Oh yeah, Swan Facts.
So, jumping into that, the film was shot in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Which makes sense because you can see some of the scenes look really cold.
Yeah.
At times.
I noticed a lot of films and shows film in Toronto.
Yeah.
So it's a nice place to shoot, I guess.
For sure. The gore and effects were provided by Greg Nicotero, who is also
Walking Dead.
known for doing all the stuff on Walking Dead, and even directing a few episodes here and there. He's very successful in makeup business. This was Land of the Dead was the first Romero film to use mixed practical and digital effects.
Okay.
So if you see some of like in the very beginning when John Leguizamo kills that walker in the liquor store with the arrow, it falls on him and he shoots him up through his throat. You can if you look closely or freeze frame it, it's digital. Some of the stuff throughout is like that, but it doesn't look bad at all.
No, it looks really good.
So that's interesting. And Asia Argento, who is one of the main characters, the woman who is supposedly a prostitute at first. She's one of the main characters in the film. She is the daughter of the famous Italian director Dario Argento, who actually helped executive produce and compose the 1978 version of Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's cool, right?
That's sick.
So we have we're gonna do a little. I have like a short bio for George, but I also have a little interview snippet.
Okay.
From the Masters of Horror. So I'll leave it up to you, dude. Do you want to hear the little piece of interview, or do you want to do the bio first?
We'll do the excuse me. We'll do the bio. We can do the bio first.
Okay.
And then we'll do the interview after. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So George A. Romero was born February 4th, 1940. He was from the Bronx, which is in New York, obviously. His major films include Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Martin, and Creepshow. He was famous for what we were just talking about, for his use of social commentary within his grounded horror imagery. Being the son of a commercial artist, he was always kind of drawn to movies at an early age, and eventually studied the arts at Carnegie University. Early in his career, he produced a series of shorts for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, right. In 1968, he changed the horror game forever with The Night of the Living Dead, a black and white film that was made for just $100,000.
Wow.
That basically created the zombie.
Yeah.
As we know it, right?
Yeah.
In the early 70s, he tried to venture beyond zombies with films like The Crazies, but they ended up not being very well received. So in the late 70s, he returned with Dawn of the Dead,
Okay.
and we all know how that worked out, right? He then teamed up with Stephen King in the early 80s with the horror anthology Heavyweight Creepshow. He has two kids, both whom have followed him into the industry.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, they both work in Hollywood, and this is just happened like a couple days ago, but George passed in his sleep on July 16th, 2017, and he was 77. It was reported that he passed on while listening to one of his favorite scores from 1952's The Quiet Man.
Oh, wow.
Which is fitting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of leave this earth doing, hearing something you love. That's great.
Yeah.
Kind of poetic in a way.
Yeah, it really is. I like the fact that his kids, are following in his footsteps, kind of carrying on his legacy.
Mm-hmm. A bonus fun fact: George's daughter is in Land of the Dead. There's this little scene where this walker, but zombie comes up to one of the military outposts, which has an electric fence, and it's like frying. And they tell one of the dudes tells like this woman they're watching it happen, like, finish him off, and that's his daughter.
Oh wow! Okay.
That fires on the zombie. So that's a little kind of fun cameo.
And a swan fact.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all we got, unless you want to go kind of off the dome about Land of the Dead at all before we do the George interview, or even just talk about him a little bit.
Well, what was your least favorite scene?
Oh yeah.
Or something that you would like to change?
Well, let me say I think my favorite scene was when John Leguizamo's character goes. I don't know. I can't remember why he does this, but he goes to see somebody, and they've hung themselves.
Okay.
And obviously, in that mythology, once you die, you turn into a zombie. So he hung himself, and the wife comes out of the other room, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then the son comes out, and he tries to help. He sees his dad is like hanging, and he tries to cut him down, and that his dad's already turned into a zombie. So there's fucking this great moment when the son kind of he's like ready to cut the rope, and he's like face to face with his dad, and his dad kind of glares over at him, and it's almost like you see in the son's face that he knows he's fucked already. And I really like that, not only for that little bit, but I love that that's the only kind of redemption that John Leguizamo's character has throughout that whole movie. He's kind of a little piece of shit the whole time, except for when he saves that wife.
Yeah.